Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Dizer. I'm here with my Damien Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning. If you hear smucking, it's not me.
She's in a real mood this morning.
It's Mrs. Bridget Bardot, and she's in a real mood where she wants everyone to know that she's really dry, but she does not want to go for water. So
much rather lick the floor.
She's in a mood. So there's a lot of smucking going on, and I apologize.
Mm-hmm. And she's a princess, so she gets whatever she wants.
Yep.
A few quick health and wellness stories to go over today.
Mm-hmm.
We can start with a major trial that just came out about calcium supplementation from the UK. They were looking to see if they could find tons and tons of people to put into one study where they could look at the difference between some people who supplement calcium, people who supplement vitamin D, and people who supplement a combination. And if there was any risks associated with either calcium, vitamin D, or both, in a really, really, really large trial. And the reason being, a few years ago there was some studies that said that there was potentially some risk to the cardiovascular system with calcium supplementation, specifically the increase in plaque buildup, causing heart attacks, strokes, that type of thing.
I didn't know that.
So the physiological basis around supplementing calcium with vitamin D and K2 came about, being the idea being it helps get calcium into the bones. That's why when you look at calcium supplementation, it's usually associated also in combination with vitamin D and K2. Anyhow, they did this large trial. They found that there was no increase in incidence in cardiovascular disease, ischemic heart disease, increased risk of death in any of the groups that just had calcium, the groups that just had vitamin D, or the combination groups, or the people who took nothing. So there was no increased risk in just the calcium group. So it's really important to know that calcium is safe on its own, and that was the goal of the study, really. But what I see in practice is that people get obsessed with calcium. That I have to take calcium. It's incredibly important for my bones.
I don't think it's their fault.
Oh no, it's not their fault.
No, what I mean by that is, I said the other day, like, there's buses that go by that say, basically, like, drink milk, eat cheese, or your bones are gonna turn to dust. It's a real fear thing, and it's really been put out there.
It's so true. It's so true.
It was really heavily promoted.
I can't stand fear-based advertising. I think it's awful.
I know. And it's like, sometimes I don't know. It's hard because I know that some things need to get out there, and sometimes it's like you can't just go out and grab people by the shoulders and say, look, you need to do this. It's for the betterment of your health. But then I feel like the things that are actually promoted on that heavier level aren't properly promoted. They're usually promoted by a big business with an agenda. Like, that milk is by milk. It's by the dairy farmers of Canada.
Yeah. And they're supported by Health Canada to do that. Like, Health Canada allows these things to happen, and people come to me and say, oh no, I have to eat cheese or else my bones will wither away.
Yeah.
So, have you had a bone scan? Do you know that you have osteopenia or osteoporosis? No. Does anyone in your family, your mother, your grandmother, your sisters, do they ever have osteoporosis or break a bone? No. Okay, well, we're not really mitigating the risk effect, the risk here, by just eating extra cheese. It's not really the answer for...
I know.
So what do you do in that situation when people are looking to make sure they're getting adequate calcium levels? What do you tell them to go to in terms of foods?
Well, I say veggies. Leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower. I go for all that. I guess I don't worry so much about certain vitamins and minerals. I just explain how to have a really rich, well-rounded diet. I don't go really specifically into one.
Well, it's important because what we know about a well-rounded diet is that absorption is optimized. So when you do get calcium from the leafy greens, which is a rich source, then they're easily absorbed. There's no inflammation happening in the digestive tract. There's just a healthy, nice, stable absorption of calcium and other minerals. What I see in practice is this really challenging thing where minerals compete for absorption. So we have people who are taking CalMag, calcium magnesium supplementation, thinking they're getting lots of magnesium.
Yeah.
When that isn't necessarily the case. What I've seen with these calcium magnesium supplements is the magnesium is there to help prevent constipation from the calcium.
Right.
A lot of people get constipated from calcium, iron, a few different minerals. Certain types of magnesium can counteract that. And in these CalMag supplements, I don't know that the magnesium absorption is that great. I think it's more the calcium. Anyhow, when I'm recommending bone strength, if someone has done a DEXA scan or if they have osteoporosis in their family or if they've been diagnosed with osteopenia, then we do calcium, vitamin D, K2. And you can take these together and we know that it helps shunt the calcium to the bones really, really well.
And that's for people that have legitimate concern.
Legitimate concerns, a history of a broken bone, history of doing the test and getting it looked at. We're fortunate in our clinic that we have a DEXA scanner. We can do scanning. We can see what people's bones look like. So it's really important. But yeah, calcium on its own is not dangerous, which is really important to know because it was thought that it was. Yeah. The next story today is about pollutants in fish. And we've been talking about this a little bit lately, but there's one specific new study that came out that I think is really important to go over, and it's that this group of people at UC San Diego were going through the bioaccumulation of pollutants in fish and how that affects humans and what does it actually do. And what they found was that there's these pollutants that are bioaccumulated in fish. Specifically, they were looking at yellowfish tuna, which we know tuna soaks up toxins. They really and they hold on to them for a long time. These pollutants, and they went through 10 of them. The most common, DDT, flame retardants, a lot of modern industrial chemicals that we know are getting into the food supply. What they're actually doing is interfering with this protein called PGP. And PGP is a protein that's for detoxifying cells on the cellular level. They help keep cells' energetic mechanisms going properly because they help bump toxins out of cells. Now these toxins actually are disrupting PGP. So what we're seeing is this toxic overload. Not only are these industrial pollutants being consumed and then having hormone disruption in the body, having a whole bunch of other negative consequences that we know about, but they're also reducing detox in the cell, which can have significant impacts later on.
So these chemicals are getting into the ocean, and then these fish are being affected, and it's being stored.
And then we consume the fish.
In their fat cells.
It's being stored in their fat cells, exactly. We consume the fish, and then these molecules get into our cells. They disrupt the detox of the cell, so the cell can then not get rid of them even more. There's some of them that latch on to this PGP protein and actually render it completely useless, which is it's really sad.
So this must bother you because all you eat in terms of animal protein is fish.
It really does. Right now I'm consuming fish and eggs. Those are my forms of animal protein. That's really the only ones that I consume.
Not really. They are the only ones that you consume.
Oh yeah, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
And then we've got a real problem with fish here. In North America, we have a problem. Last week I was going through the detailed mercury research from last year, and it's basically there's no safe level of mercury. So these POPs are persistent organic pollutants. They're all through the fish biome, but now they're getting into humans and bioaccumulating and having major disruptions, not only on the hormone level, cognitive level, neurotransmitter, but also right at the cellular level in terms of cellular detox.
So what's the answer then?
The answer right now is that there isn't really safe tuna that I can promote. Other types of fish, it's important to get higher up on the chain, but the actual choices, I mean, I can't really give any good recommendations at the moment. It's rough out there.
So I'm assuming that's why you haven't been buying fish.
Yes, that has been why. But yeah, so doing these complete avoidance is going to be really helpful for detox of the cell. But I don't have really anything else to give for information on this at the moment in terms of what we should be doing.
So you're saying that, making sure that it's not farmed. I don't know the terms because I don't eat fish.
No, you've got it. Farmed fish.
You want to avoid.
And lowest down on the food chain, they are
There's no way
lowest.
to really regulate it because it's happening within our ocean. So in the organic nature, we've now polluted our fish.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We polluted the ocean. We
have polluted the ocean, and this has caused a problem for things like tuna and prawns, shrimp, all the good ones.
Oh, that's so sad.
Everything that's delicious.
I think we have different reasons why we think it's sad.
Yeah, for sure. The third story I have today, the final one, is about new research into oncology and looking at new ways of treating cancer. Basically, there's this company called Loxo Oncology. They're doing genetic therapy, looking at they have this one drug that they know when a tumor has a specific genetic change, this drug can take out this tumor. Because it has action on this mechanism where when there's this genetic change, it actually works. So what they found is that this drug can work on all different types of cancer as long as it has this one genetic change. So it's just a new way of looking at cancer. I think it's really interesting, and I think we'll see more of it in the future. Yeah, really, really cool. I think that, we have to figure out more ways of treating cancer, and this is just one step. Genetic and immune, I think, are the ways to go.
I think prevention.
Yes, for sure, but there's so many people who are actually suffering with cancer, have multiple
No.
bouts.
I'm not saying let's ignore them. Obviously, I think that should be addressed, and we should be on it, obviously. But I think just the real pure education of how to drastically reduce your risk of having cancer needs to be out there more, because I see this trend now where the new methodology of confusing people, the processed meat people, the dairy people, the chemical people, the crap food people, let's just say. Their new way of confusing people is everyone's gonna die anyway. Everyone's saying don't eat this. Everyone's saying don't have fun and eat sausage. We're all gonna die anyway. It's this new thing where everyone's surrendering into this victim thing. I know someone who never did it, whatever, and they got cancer. So, and then they bring that example up, and then they use it as evidence of we're all screwed. Have fun, eat a hot dog. That's the new confusion, and it's really upsetting. I see it all the time now on social media, and that's what we're up against now. People that are just being told that you're victims, you might as well just go do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, it's so true. We're seeing it all the time.
All the time. I see it at least once a day, and I see intelligent people saying these things, and it's really bothersome. They feel beat down. A lot of people... know a lot of people that have had cancer, and it's really hard to objectively look at the lifestyle of someone you love and be really honest about it. So I think that everyone's just we're all victims.
And then it's hard to look at your own lifestyle and make changes as well.
See, I find that I think it's so empowering. I think that, but I'm one of those people that I like being really honest with myself about all aspects of my life. I have no problem, with saying that I was wrong about something, or something's irrational, or I'm doing something that's an unhealthy behavior. As soon as I recognize it, there's such freedom in putting light on that and being oh, I'm doing this, I can change. People get really scared, and they do all these other things to try to avoid the truth.
Do you think that was a process of development to be able to critically analyze yourself or do these things, or do you think that you just inherently have that? Because some people find it very challenging, and I think that there may be a process behind it.
Well, yeah, I think that, I've been accused of there's something a little off about me since I was young. I have
Oh my God.
well, you know what I mean? I have this,
yeah.
I have this thing where I can't let it go if it's the truth. It's really hindered a lot of relationships of mine, because a lot of people, it's why do you care if someone's not telling the truth? It could be a trivial thing, or if someone isn't being honest with themselves, or like with my relationships with girlfriends, I've ended a lot of girlfriend relationships because, you know, they could be talking about a breakup and they'd be very upset, and, you know, I'd go there with them and I'd emotionally support them, and then we'd go through it, and then I'd say, okay, so like, how are you going to alter your behavior to, and I've always kind of had that, and then people get really mad. So I don't know if it's something that, like, sometimes I think it's a little bit of a, like, I'm off a little with that because it's such a clear, like, people don't.
I don't think you're off, no.
I know, but people don't have it.
No.
But with myself, I've always been, I used to be dramatically hard on myself to the point where I would hold myself back. So it was realizing that being hard on myself and super critical actually was my ego. I was tricking myself into thinking I was super humble and, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not good in this, whatever. But what was actually happening is I was holding myself back. So I would be really, really hard on myself, and then I would slip into a behavior of basically abusing myself. So I had to lift myself out of that and be really honest and look at that. I basically had a breakthrough where I was like, oh, the only way out of this is me. There's no, you know, white knight on a horse that comes in and says, you're perfect now, I see you. And then you're like, oh, like, it just, none of those things happen.
What? Are you sure that doesn't happen?
Yeah, I'm positive. So I think I was in so much pain for so long at such a young age that I just got to a point where there has to be something better. Life can't be suffering. Life can't be me just hating myself and moving from one problem to the next. So I had to get past the, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, humble, oh, I'm so humble though, you know, I'm going to stay humble and whatever, and then slipping into a negative, hurtful behavior. I had to say, oh, this action isn't healthy. And if I want my life to be better, I have to change it. And again, it's that ownership of, it doesn't matter all the things that happen to you. Many of us are victims of things, but it doesn't matter once it's over. Right. In the light of, we have to move forward and make our lives better. That, like, I mean, there's definitely time for grief and there's definitely time for dealing, but you have to pick yourself up. And you can't be a victim of anything. You can't be a victim of anything in the world. You have to move forward and you have to make everything better, no matter how drastic or horrible the circumstances are. I feel like that's our whole thing in life. Like, that's our whole mission. You know? And
one of the core missions of the show here, and what we really want to get across in terms of health and wellness. I mean, we've been talking a lot about cancer prevention, but we know that your stance is more optimizing health.
Definitely.
Feeling good, making these changes, and
enjoying your life, setting up the pillar of mental and physical well-being, like we'll just generally call that health, is your right, and it is a freedom maker. I don't want anyone, you know, stuck on it and obsessed with it. Like, we enjoy it and we relish in it, but then we go live our lives. You know, like, it is our job and we do talk about it and we work in it a lot, but, you know, we don't have to, outside of that, obsess. You know, it's all freedom giving. Everything is, it gives more energy to our lives and allows us to focus on, you know, our gifts and enjoying life and giving more back. And I want everyone to be able to achieve that.
Exactly. And that it really is the goal of the show. Like, if you just look at today's show here, we really hope you got something from just these simple stories. Like, you know, you at this point in our life in North America, you have to find fish that aren't polluted. I mean, it's just something that we know that fish are good for you. They've got healthy omega-3s, and there's going to be, don't be discouraged, there's going to be fish that are not going to be affected by this. We're going to find answers, but we know that, you know, tuna, prawns, shrimp, the lower level fish are going to be polluted. It's the same thing with calcium. You know, there's been a lot of fear about calcium lately, and it's really unfounded, according to this new study, which had over 500,000 people. So if you are concerned about your bones, calcium, vitamin D, and K2, it really is the way to go. So we're trying to make this easy and light, and you know, you can look at what you're doing. You can look at your lifestyle like you do all the time, and see where your blind spots are, and these are just simple ways to jumpstart that.
Or just flat out when things aren't working.
Right. Oh my gosh. I mean, you must see this a long time. People stick with things that aren't working for them.
People will fight for them.
Yeah. I've been there, wholly.
Yeah, like, for sure. And, like, it's not, like, villainizing them, but, I mean, there is a real archetype of personality of people that will join my program, you know, write me 2 paragraphs about how excited they are and what their current situation is, whatever, and then literally end it by saying, now I know that this is what you want me to do, but I've been doing this exercise program for 5 years. I love it. I want to keep doing it. And I'm like, well, then you're gonna have the same result. It's going to be exactly the same. Like, people will cling on to safety. Yeah. If what you're doing or what you've done hasn't gotten you to where you want to be in a healthy, happy, joyous way, you got to let it go. And that's all ways of life. And I get it. Like, it's, you know, there's a real safety in not changing. There's a real, you know, but like that slow burn of that dull, never really getting to where you want to go in life is so much worse than that initial, you know, shock of change. And once you get into change and once you realize the benefit of it, you kind of get addicted. You know, you like it.
It's true.
It feels good.
Especially when you're seeing the benefits, when you're actually
when
seeing
you commit
change.
to something and you actually work hard and there are good things come of it and you earned it and it's yours, there's no replacement for that type of pride.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's going to be, we're going to cover this more on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show, we're going through how to be lucky, how to generate luck. It's going to be an excellent show, and that's going to be part of it. We've got multiple pillars, tons and tons of research online about lucky people and what do they do.
Ooh, let's do that. That sounds great. And tomorrow also, I don't want to say today, but let's also, maybe tomorrow we could offer for our listeners maybe the 21-day vegan cleanse for free if they leave us, maybe if they have something nice to say in the Apple reviews of our podcast.
Sounds great. We'll go through the details tomorrow then. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I love a giveaway. It makes me feel good.
So look forward to the show tomorrow, How to Be Lucky.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah, we've got
I have so much to say.
Okay, good. So many cool things to go through. I wanted to bring it up at the end here just because I know you'll be excited, but I don't want to get into it right now.
Okay, no.
Sounds good?
Okay, sounds good.
And then we'll go over a giveaway tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to do that. And it's a perfect time for, you know, a gentle cleanse. This time of year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I was not in my current situation, this is my high time for like a pure, I'd do the 21-day vegan in my killer workouts, and we'll go over that.
Oh, exactly.
What I would be doing.
Yes, exactly. and I'll say this because I can't help it. I can't not say it. In Chinese medicine, you want to do your cleanses mid-April and mid-September.
You know, it's so funny because so much of Chinese medicine, I don't follow it, but often I'll say something to you, and you'll say, oh, that falls perfectly
within. It's an intrinsic
Isn't that funny? Yeah. And when you've done, like, my... whatever.
Like 5 elements?
When you've done those things, they're right on.
Oh, yeah for sure. It's very cool. Well, the ancient medicine has been around for thousands and thousands
of
years.
I was never demoting. They know what they're talking about. I just think it's kind of amazing because it's something it's not like I follow it or, you know, it's part of my daily life. And every time you've brought it up, it's like exactly on with.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
It's cool. Yeah. End of April, perfect cleanse time. Look out tomorrow for information about getting your cleanse.
Yeah.
That's Healthy Rebel Radio for today. We hope you have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamiHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamiHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamiHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamiHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.